Man. Little did we know.
No.
Little did we know that the next time we'd be here,
back in Bermugula again,
that things would be so different. Welcome to the first episode of Crash Bandicoot that we've recorded here on Beard Bros since the Great Shuffle.
Yeah. We're in my house, but we didn't forget exactly what's going on. We were still talking about Jingle All the Way, which has just been, I think, the main topic of conversation for like 3 straight months on Super Beard Bros. And Ted is about to whip this boss's ass. Is that right?
And this is also the only other game we've recorded. Or this is the second game.
Oh, in this space, this is the second game we've recorded. This is true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, update your update the official new Super Beard Bros wiki. Mm-hmm. Update your history books, your video game history books for our second ever game.
And we
Ted
swap
is still
positions.
Oh, all right. Right.
Oh god, it hurts so bad.
You don't like her hair?
No, I said it would hurt so bad.
Oh, I thought you said, oh my god, her hair's so bad.
Oh my god, her hair is so bad.
I kind of like the plot. Like, it's kind of like fun and comic booky.
Let's make this fun. Give them a sporting chance.
Does anybody feel confident about like playing this?
I just don't like that they're so into each other. It's just so...
I'm sure we asked the question of the day before. Like,
yeah.
Would you fuck yourself?
Yeah, would you like that? Because that's what this feels like, right? It feels almost like the ultimate version of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. It just feels a little too weird, man.
What's the one from BioShock? Those two? The ones that are like redheads and they are like, I think I'll flip a coin.
Oh, the Olsens.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
The Olsen twins?
That's them.
Yeah. Those ones also, I'm always like, do you guys like love each other? Each other?
The heck?
Yo, you're about to get twisted, bro.
What is this?
You just got saved from annihilation, but now you're all about that booberry.
Wait, so do you not have to fight a boss?
I think there will be a boss.
Are we in the Avengers Endgame?
This is pretty sick.
Did we like vastly underestimate how much of this game is left?
That's a good question.
Like, this looks pretty,
I don't know how much is left.
like, this is sick, but it also looks pretty ultimate to me.
Oh, wait.
Ted opted to turn off the fruit.
I didn't realize I had the power.
You've always had the power, Ted.
Does anybody remember how to play this?
Oh, God!
Just get
no.
from point A to point B, baby.
Is this the show with the bit where I'm a video game expert?
Yeah.
Great. As a video game expert, this is one of my blind spots. Is the Crash Bandicoot series.
Oh, interesting. So this was a stage-ish kind of weird. Okay.
What the hell? Okay, so
the boxes were berries.
This was just like a little like Sonic the Hedgehog situation for a sec.
Is fit for extermination as a housefly.
Oh, how modern.
Okay, interesting. That felt like remember the gummy ship sections?
Yeah.
Hated them.
They just, I didn't hate like what it was, but like when I'm trying to play Kingdom Hearts, like it is like the last thing that I want to stop everything I'm doing and do.
I want nothing to do with that.
That's one of the
And
things.
they felt like they went on forever.
That's one of the things that I think is like so funny. Like I don't think Kingdom Hearts is actually an example of what I'm about to complain about.
Okay.
I just got to keep my credit as a video game expert, but like the like franchises adding like different genres to them to like save the franchise sales wise.
Do you have an example?
Yeah, like Fire Emblem did it. Persona kind of like became this for Shin Megami Tensei in a way, where they like added like another layer. Like Persona's like a spin-off, and it's just so popular compared to the regular Shin Megami Tensei game that like all the budget shifted towards Persona, right? So now if you want to play that kind of Shin Megami Tensei combat, unless you're happy waiting like however many years between main games, like you have to like live the life of a Japanese high schooler and like get involved in the lives of all these teenagers and like keep them happy if you want to play your demon collecting game. You know what I mean? Same thing with Fire Emblem. Like literally exact same thing. Like if you want to play your tactical RPG, you have to do like hours of like social engineering to maximize the game.
I'm gonna let you know something, man. You could, about those two franchises you mentioned, you could have said just about anything in the world, and I'd have believed you.
Did I just go to like the most like Brett is interested in it part of the gaming like sphere?
Basically, yeah. Like, I just know nothing.
Yeah.
So you could have said like, yeah, so when you travel through time and visit Mark Twain, I'd have been like, oh, wow, yeah. Wow, that's crazy. I would have believed it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, people, like, it happens with mixed results. Like, we were talking about Pokemon a little bit, about how people, like, there's people who like that game that Pokemon was 20 years ago that have certain expectations, but then there's just people who like, you know, chilling with Geodude, and they have different expectations for what a Pokemon game should be. It's like that kind of thing, but it's, like, a little different, you know? I don't know. Final Fantasy's facing this problem. Also, they turn into, like, a giant Devil May Cry, you know? For Final Fantasy 16, and like a lot of like hardcore people who love playing like, you know, a more traditional JRPG are just like, what even is Final Fantasy anymore, right?
Yeah, long-running franchises tend to change over time.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's interesting.
I'm looking about.
It's hard to look at them as like even close to as continuous as like a lot of other things that are sequels. Some games really do nail it. Like,
ooh.
Oh, I thought it was a non-moving boy.
This is what it's like, man, if Ted were like a standard beard bro instead of the engineer.
Ted hops on. He, you know, he knows he's got to be a little bit more colorful. He has to heighten it up. So he's
Gotta add
doing
a little bit of melanin
singing.
to
Yeah,
his-
he's doing a
his
little
formula.
singing.
Did you say melanin?
You heard me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. You know what my favorite thing is about when I pop into Ted's streams?
Uh-oh.
Do you know Ted?
I'm gonna guess my self-confidence?
I'm gonna guess people who are in Ted streams trying to talk to you.
No, it's just the fact that he often is just like his ratio of like paying attention to the game and paying attention to the chat, in my opinion, is so skewed towards game. It's very funny. Like whole swaths of minutes will like go by, and then he'll go and be like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And I've been there for like 15 minutes.
Oh, hey, Brett.
Like, just he's like, "Nah, man, I'm playing a fucking video game," and I'm like, "I'm not mad at you." Yeah,
That's very true.
I love that. But that's kind of your mindset with games. Like, you're very flow statey, right?
Yeah, it's very unconscious. Like, I think I constantly think I just check chat.
It's funny because Brett, to me, is like one of the most present gamers that I've ever seen.
you mean in terms of I'm constantly talking to the chat?
Like,
Why?
whatever you're up to, you're like very, 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 very like present in the moment doing it. Like, you could like play Street Fighter and like have a conversation. You can like kind of like, you know, if you can't have a conversation, you can like stop someone mid conversation, be like, hold on, let me just finish this real quick. You're very like,
You mean I'm able to communicate while playing?
yeah, and you're just very like,
Fuck me, dude.
you're very like consciously thinking about the people looking at you when you're doing it for people.
Conscientious.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
I'm gonna burn all your guys' lives.
Oh no, these are your lives. You put them in your hands.
Though I am the best chat watcher of all time.
I think so.
I'm too neurotic.
So
Like-
what is your neuroses looking out for?
I'm just literally replying immediately to every single text that I get on Twitch. Like,
Dude, I saw that. You went one way and then you like at the last second broke left.
Yeah.
You didn't trust yourself.
are
Yeah.
you trying to get one hit on boss right now?
One hit.
Like, is that the vibe? Like, are you trying to get down there? Because look, they have a life bar. So are we trying to like get down there and like hit them, and then we're gonna end up back here again? And
Who
do it
knows?
Yeah, I'm not aware.
again? I'm not aware.
There you go.
Question of the day: does my voice sound different on the other side of the room?
yes, it does.
Like a giant Muppet bird. Watch it, frog.
It sounds like the sounds like when you have a Jurassic Park like toy that makes sound, like the type of sound that comes out of the speaker.
Remember those sound like? Remember how shitty toys used to sound? Like the one I remember. And granted, my memories of this sounding this way might entirely be due to like, oh my God. Might entirely be due to like the fact that I put them in the tub with me all the time because I was just a kid.
Yeah.
Remember the talking turtles? They had huge manhole covers for shells.
Yes.
Because those were speakers, and you would pull like a piece of like red plastic through them that would like run a shitty sound clip.
I completely remember them.
And it was always like, you know, Cowabunga or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I swear to me, instead of sounding like Cowabunga, it sounded like and that may have been due to the fact that I think I may have just ruined them as a dumb kid.
That's so fucking funny.
I would love that. I would love to get my hands on those toys for half an hour just to like play with them for a bit again.
You and everyone, man. That shit, like the nostalgia factor online, like with like nerd content is so high.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
It's so interesting. Like I think about like, you know, I don't know, like books, like the like literature scene for like 300 years. And how like contemporary it often is, or like extremely classic, but nostalgia, it's like it doesn't. It feels kind of modern.
Oh, you looked away. You thought, oh, okay.
I looked at my shoe for half a second.
Don't know why. Don't know why. Don't know why.
That time he was just looking.
He was talking.
Acting like a video game won't get you. Feel like nostalgia is I don't think nostalgia is relatively new. I just think that the things that we nostalgize
after
over is like we're just more connected over it because it's more like the things that we're nostalgizing over were more worldwide and less local. Like we all grew up with fucking Ninja Turtles because it was national, right? And not only that, but like we're so connected now that it's a feedback loop of nostalgia. We can keep talking about it as opposed to me, you, and Ted being the only people in our village who remember how we used to play in that treehouse. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
You know, I think it's. I don't think it's new. I just think it's more powerful.
I remember some stand-up bit. I forget who the comedian was talking about how nostalgia used to be like a sickness, like viewed as like a mental illness that you would have.
Really?
That you'd have to like treat people for. Like if I ever start talking about the old days, son. Put me out of my misery.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Oh my God.
You got this.
Thank you.
But I don't think it is. To be clear, I don't think nostalgia is mental illness.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, look at my fucking house, bro.
It's like it's a drug potentially. It's not a drug. It's an indulgence, and you know, if you do it too much, it could definitely be a little bit unhealthy.
I think it's like a personal connection to shared culture, kind of in disguise. I think people kind of like think of nostalgia as like a very intimate thing a lot of the time. Like people get us like kind of like it's a place where people get very angry. You know, a lot of the time.
Oh, you did it.
Do you have an example of what being too into nostalgia would be bad?
I think
sure.
I think in the sense of like the old world.
Shitty titties.
I think in the sense of the old world that it was more like about not doing your work and like being idle.
Yeah.
I don't think it was really about like there's
Well, like nowadays.
When I was referring to it not necessarily being healthy, it's like if you live too much in the past or too much in the future, you're not in the present, and that's not mentally healthy.
Fair
It's
point.
like the Great
fair
Gatsby.
point.
Yeah.
That's all I'm talking about.
I gotcha.
100%. It's never going to be the thing that it was. And thinking
There's no way.
And thinking that it will be is a mistake. But celebrating what you had and kind of like staying connected to things that were important to you,
Son of a bitch.
very cool.
I'm guilty as fuck, man. Y'all have seen my fucking living room,
Yeah, I mean, look at the room we're fucking in right now.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's taken me a while, and I keep having to remind myself of like, I can't hate on people for not knowing about the things that I know about.
Is that like your natural proclivity to hate on people when they don't know your references and shit?
I think so.
Like what? Can you give me an example?
I'll be like, you don't know about this?
So
what?
do you hating on them?
Like
Like, is
gatekeeping?
that an incredulity, or are you actually angry?
I think incredulity more.
Okay.
But it's absolutely something in myself I've been like, no, this is shitty to react this way. So I curb it as much as I can.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being legitimately have a reaction of surprise. I get surprised when someone's like, "No, man, never heard of Power Rangers." Like, I'd be like, "What?"
It's more about
That's fucking surprising.
Yeah, it's more about like either you're gatekeeping or you're genuinely surprised. And if you're not trying to like, zealotize and keep people out of your thing by asking them if they're legit enough, then I think you're okay.
That sounds like two different things to me.
Well, a lot of people do that. You know what I mean?
All right, I'm gonna tell you guys what's going on. So we've just hit the mark where Ted usually reminds us to plug the Patreon, and Ted did it, and it's looking a little bit, slightly more natural than usual. Meanwhile, Alex over here is straight up looking like Poop Deck Pappy. Like, one eye squinted at me, looking for his next drink. You know what I mean? Refuses to eat his spinach. Doing his impression of Ted, but he looked like Mandy Patinkin over there. So yeah, real talk, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying the show.
I do not think you know what that face look. I don't think that face does what you think it looks like. We'll work on that. We'll
workshop.
Oh, New World.
Patreon.com/SuperBeardBros is a fine website that you can go to support this channel. Keeps us off of the algorithm, which we're trying to do. Keeps us very punk rock, and it's a way for you to finance this show for everyone who can afford it when you maybe can. So heading over to Patreon.com/SuperBeardBros. Get everything 30 days early. I love you. I kiss you. Goodbye.
He kissed you.
What was the world before? Go back real quick. I think you could press a button to skip worlds, or not.
Like a map page.
Yeah, I swear there's one. Whatever.
Oh, that might be it.
Change dimension. Okay, so.
Oh, and then you can just.
Whoa. You're okay. Keep going then. I just don't know where we are.
Are these just both bonus?
This was the Dino Land. Then we had Future
That's
Land.
Bermugula.
Okay, so that's you did. Go back. Who? Eggapus?
I think Alex.
I played the Eggapus.
So is it my turn for a world?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that Crash Triceratops.
Are we sure?
I do not like him.
I am very sure.
Ted is the only one who's
I
watched
just edited.
No one watches the show. It's for Ted.
Well, I mean, me and you. Just between you and I. We're not throwing on,
All right.
4-month-old Let's Plays
I've got my own controller.
that we already
too.
lived.
Oh, you've got your own controller.
Yeah, well, actually. Do I? Yeah, I do.
So I need to turn this controller off.
No, man, you're good. Don't worry about it.
You guys want to see an in-person demonstration of how good the PS5 is? Look at that.
Yeah, that does feel good.
Bam.
Actually, there we go. Okay. Whew, that was close.
TV, what is it called? TV launch dimension?
The snacks
TV
dimension.
launch.
Food run. Dude, what is this game now?
This is my perfect segue. Not perfect, but it's really good.
Okay, great.
I had a question before we started recording
Oh yeah.
because we mentioned field trips.
Yes, I forgot about that.
And I was wondering, what were y'all's field trips? Because I know my field trips in Minnesota, but I assume they're vastly different.
Like what they were, like
Yeah.
what types of things we did.
Yeah.
I remember going to the Aquarium of the Pacific.
Your LUSD?
I think for 1 year, but I went to private school the vast majority.
So we probably all had very different experiences.
Probably, yeah.
So you went to where?
I remember going to the Aquarium of the Pacific.
Aquarium?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one in Long Beach.
Aquarium of the Pacific. Yeah, this is guys, coming back to this.
Yeah, learning how to play Crash again. I was in a beach town, so I did a bunch of beachy stuff, like in San Pedro, which is like part of LA, but like I was in the harbor, so I did like a lot of like going in the harbor and looking at like the fireboats and stuff like that.
Learning to spot drug mules.
And LAUSD, the way it worked is you get the slip and then you take it home and your parent fills it out and then you do it, and then twice a year there's like the big field trip where you like go away for a couple days. And we had Yosemite as one of them, and we went also.
Oh wow!
And when we went to the Catalina Island Marine Institute for the other one, because
Okay.
they're both pretty close. and they teach you about nature and stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I
But
remember going to some
Mostly
museums.
science and museums. Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
I wish I could remember more.
I know I went to like the aquarium in San Pedro, the Cabrillo Aquarium, but I don't think I ever went to the Aquarium of the Pacific.
So I distinctly remember one, if not many, trips to just farms
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
where we're like they hired actors to like dress up in old timey garb.
To like teach you about
Huh.
history or about like farming.
Kind of like both.
Interesting. Was the vibe that like some of y'all are going to be farmers?
I don't think so.
All right.
I'm pretty sure no.
Because the like local job in my town is
But not like farmers suck.
No, but like
Tell us how you really feel about
the local
farmers,
job
Ted.
in my I respect farmers more than almost any other job, but
Yeah. I think that was a large part of the purpose of the field.
yeah, the local job where I'm from was to become a longshoreman and work in the harbor, and like that was
That
like
Rico Harbor theme. Do 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 do.
like
do,
operate
do,
the
do,
cranes
do.
and stuff, and you get like all these great union benefits, like a really good union, really powerful union, really good like job, in general, to have a family, right? And so like we did do a lot of like harbor commerce related field trips. I feel like it's the same thing.
The longer ones, like you were mentioning, for us, I distinctly remember Long Lake Conservation Camp.
Oh yeah,
And I think we went there for like a week or something. And just like had our cabins and like learned about animals and nature and
they made us eat
like
like
wolves and stuff.
when we were in Yosemite. They made us eat the apple cores because you can't like pollute them because it's a national park.
Oh, wow.
And we went into a cave, then like crawled on our hands and knees into a like claustrophobic cave under the earth and sat
Fuck
in the
that,
dark.
dude.
And they told
Wow.
us like we sat there and had story time and crawled out like single file in like an actual spelunking tunnel.
Nice.
I also went to a space camp, but it wasn't like astronaut camp. It was like science camp. It was like astronomy camp. It was like
that sounds sick.
It was up in
It
the
does sound
mountains.
fun.
It was up in the mountains, but it was like look in this telescope, like do this lab.
That's fun.
And
Did they tell you about Thetans while you were there?
no,
You sure?
yeah, no, they did not.
Thebans?
At Astro Camp,
From
no.
Thebes?
Astro Camp
No,
was,
no,
was,
Thetans.
was very secular.
I don't know.
Thetans.
You don't know about Thetans?
I don't know
tell
about
any-
Thetans.
You don't know about Xenu?
Ted,
Oh,
do not-
Xena Princess Warrior?
No, another one.
Ted, don't look into this.
Aw.
I don't want you to get.
That's
So you're telling-
actually, you're like 100% real. Like, cause Ted's that kind of guy who will come back to us. He's like, Ted, what you been up to? I'm
bought
going to
an
this
e-
place a lot.
Yeah, got an e-reader.
It's like, fuck me, Ted, don't do it.
I mean, you're telling me no now,
It's Scientology,
and I'll
Ted.
hear it when I edit,
It's
so...
Scientology, Ted.
Oh,
We're
I
just
see.
talking about Scientology.
Don't.
Oh.
don't
Ted,
get,
please don't get into
don't get mixed
Scientology.
up.
So, I toured a Scientology building.
I'm not surprised, Ted.
Of course you did.
But out of sheer...
Maybe
What's
I'll
the
join
word?
this cult.
No,
Oh.
no, out of like... Let's see what they say to me. Try to convince... Cynicism?
Is that cynicism?
Or, not cynicism.
Curiosity?
Like, laugh at you kind of curiosity.
What's the laugh at you curiosity?
You wanted to hate watch. You wanted to hate watch Scientology. We're gonna get. Like,
100%!
we're gonna get like.
100%!
Somebody's gonna like come after us,
Whatever, dude. What do
gonna,
I
like-
have? What do I have that you can take from me?
dude. Don't ask the Church of Scientology that.
They're like, well,
It was... Dude,
show you.
one dude gave me, like, metal rods to hold. And he's like,
Did you do
did
one?
you get
asking-
a fucking e-reading, dude?
yeah. And he was like, asking about my family, and he's like, oh, the levels went up there a
Did
little
I not-
bit.
did I
Is
not
that a
just-
sensitive subject? And I'm like, this is just poem reading. Like, it's...
Did I not just? I knew.
Yeah, dude, he's that guy.
I knew
Like
you were
Ted
gonna
is
be
that
like-
guy.
I knew you were gonna be like,
Ted
yeah,
is
I
that
did
like if it were like, who do you know that could like possibly get involved in a cult? Ted is the answer.
Yeah.
No! No
get-
chance!
Dude,
What do you mean?
I guarantee it, Ted. I guarantee it.
I want.
Based on what I just said?
No.
Oh.
Based on like the fact that I know you, dude.
Like the vibe, right? Like I would say more than half the people that go do that at the Scientology building probably is similar to what yours is like. And
This
then
is
they're
trippy.
Like, and then they're like, whoa.
I just think you're. I think you're open to new experiences. And I think that while you see certain things that other people miss, I also think that you miss plenty that most people see.
Okay.
And I think grifts you just come across as somebody who would not recognize. Oh fuck! I really screwed the. Wait. Unless I'm a fucking genius, that was sick. You come across to me as the type of person. Who would not realize something apparent about the nefarious behavior that seems apparent to everybody else. It's like, what do you mean? It's normal that she wants to look through my phone all the time. You know what I mean?
Possibly.
I'm not saying I'm 100%
Yeah.
right, but I'd be willing to put money on it.
I guess I can see where you're coming from in the example of like
I think
seeing
Brett's
how far scammers will go. I
think
like
Brett
to
is
see how
trying
far
to be
they'll go.
clear- I think Brett is trying to be clear that he doesn't think you're like dumber than the average person. I think he just thinks that the way that your personality is, there's a certain type of person out there who prays, who's looking for exactly you to prey on.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I love giving people a chance to and see how they want to.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
stop them.
Sure. We're just about out of time. And so is Ted.
I'm out of time.
This was it. Am I fucking like doing
I
it
did
really
almost get apartment scammed.
Apartment
That was the closest scam. That almost got me.
Like a fake apartment?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
like, I live in New York. You send me the deposit, and I'll mail you the keys. And I was like, okay.
My buddy got scammed one time when he lost. We were trying to buy like something like an audio interface on eBay or something, and he lost it. He lost the bid, but then the guy contacted him and was like, "The guy who won like didn't like want to pay. So do you want us to like sell it to you for what you wanted? Just Western Union it to us, and we'll send you the thing." And he did that and just like gave $200 to some guys. Just fully got scammed.
I got this.
Yeah, the last straw for the scammer was like, send me a picture of your dick. And I was like, you're going to blackmail me with it, so hell no.
This is a gag.
No, dating scammers. They'll ask for dick pics and then they'll blackmail you with it.
Yeah.
Dude, I would never want to talk to anybody who over an app was if she was the most gorgeous woman in the world and seemed to have a great personality. The moment she's like, send me a picture of your dick, I'm like, ew, no. But maybe that makes me an old man.
No, but like fucking middle schoolers, they'll be like, oh yay, cool.
What is a middle schooler doing on a dating app?
That's a good point.
Next time on Beard Bros. What is a middle schooler doing on a dating app?
We'll find out.
Thanks
today.
for hanging with us, guys.
Or like 18-year-olds or 19-year-olds.
Dummies. Like,
Yeah.
But even at 18 years old, no, well, that's the thing, man. We'll get into it. We'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Okay, love you, bye.